Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. It is Sunday afternoon. Got a little busy this morning trying to fix my little faux pas from the other day when I was cutting the covering and I sliced through a little bit of the covering on the side where it glued to the wood to the framework. So I was able to go in and just in that one spot thin out some of the polytack and then just smeared in. And it's glued up. It was fine. It wasn't going to come apart because it was just a little teeny section about this big. So it was locked in. But just because I worry about things I shouldn't be worried about, I did that little bit of checking online for pinked edging or straight edging. Pinked edging, you can get some stuff it's called hair set tape through, I think it's Scotch or 3M, and that's just paper. I didn't want paper, I wanted fabric. So a buddy of mine, Larry, had some F&M stitz from down in Texas, but he didn't have the size I wanted. He only had 1/2 inch. So I opted for making my own straight edge. Now what I did, first thing, I got some, I don't even know what size it is, it's 4-inch balsa, and I glued together a 6-foot piece of these two parts. So it was 2 4-foot sections, cut 2 feet off anyway. And then on top of that, I just use, because I'm trying to figure out the best way to dope it and then be able to pull it off, but keep it so that it's just not all crinkled where you're trying to cut straight lines. And so anyway, the little testing I did was with this tape, with the frog tape, and it released it. When you doped it, it stuck to the tape, but when you pulled it off, it released it. So it worked out great. So what I ended up doing was I made quite a bit of this stuff. I've got more than enough for what I need for the job I'm doing right now on it. And as you can see, it's quite a bit. It's 24 feet, and I don't need 24 feet of it. But just in case I decide that, sorry about that, just in case I decide I want to do a little bit more in other spots, I'm good to go. I don't have to make any more. Plus, what I did was, before I took the masking tape off the balsa, I strung out my 6-foot piece and did another 4-foot section. So that way, so I'm good. I don't have to worry about anything with that now. So let me show you what I did. Let's take it off the stand. Just in case you want to know, I got another LED light set up too, just because I felt it was necessary. So as you can see just how bright this one is. It's got a little bit different functions on how you set it up. And if I find the switch that's on the right side. So that's how bright that one is. So it's a better, because the LED lights are on the outside and they reflect across, so they come through. So you can go ahead and you could dial how bright or how dim you want it. So it works really nice. So that'll be for later on when I'm working down here at nighttime and it's just too dark in here. Alright, so anyway, here's what I did. I came in, and because I've got this little section down here, I didn't need to bring this up here any further. So what I did is I came in, I rounded the edges, and then just with some nitrate dope, I just came in and just attached it, glued it all the way down. And these little bit of frays, I'll sand. If there's any little frays occasionally that'll pop out that you might see in the paint, guess what? That's what planes look like in real life. So anyway, so I got one section done here. This little section here was pulled down a little bit too tight on the bottom. It's still down a little bit, but once I get this over the top of it, most of it will disappear. I came in with some MEK thinner, thin this out and let it pop up off the top. So there's a couple little sections down in here too. So I'll probably come in when I spin this around and address this up in here, let that release, and then I'll come in and then I'll put in another one on the other side. So this is what it's going to look like. So instead of just being where it's just this, nothing on top, it's got a reinforced edge tape on it, so that way there's no way this is going to come apart here. So just like the real planes. So anyway, I just haven't, I didn't bring you in on this one. Probably not looking at me. There we go. I didn't bring you in on this side just because I was trying it out and I didn't know how long it was going to take. So I'll set up the camera, set up the lighting, so when I have it spun around and I'm doing the other side, we'll go ahead and make it just a quick little video on how I do it, and then maybe I'll do a speedy up with some music for when I flip it upside down and do the bottom. So I'll bring you right back. All right, I don't know if I forgot to hit the red button again. I'm gonna I only got one more chance to get this one right. I've got this side all taken care of. I've got the edge striping on this side. I've only got one more side to go. So hopefully I'll leave it recording. I'm just going to have to move things around a little bit as I progress, because this side I'm heading towards the camera, so I'll have to move some stuff around. But regardless, let me get this little piece pre-trimmed up and get back to work. Alright, so just in case I didn't cover it in the first part, what I'm doing, I'm just, because I don't want a square edge, so I'm just coming in and very gently rounding it, because this already has a nitrate dope in it, so it could still fray, but it's less likely to fray once you put the dope on it, because it starts to bind the weave to itself. And a couple more little clips and it's ready to get put on. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so I hope you got a little idea. It's actually very easy to do. So that's all done. That makes me happier. So what I'm going to do is I'll do it all off camera because you don't need to see it. I'm going to come in as soon as the bottom tacks up. I'll probably do it first. I want this to set up a little bit back here. I'm going to go ahead and put another coat of nitrate dope on because right now it's only got one coat on. And so I'll put the second coat on, and then yeah, we got one of them there NASCAR races going on. It's the last race, so you know what day it is. It's the 19th. So anyway, I'm going to get this taken care of. I want to get one more coat of dope on this right now, and then I'll probably go upstairs and see what's going on with the race. If I get bored, I got to come back down and do one little thing on each wing where the wing struts mount to it. When you saw in the video when I was cutting it, I just made a slice. So there's little gaps in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the material that I just doped up, and I'm going to make a little filler patch to go around that. Just so I got to make 4 of those things. So what it's going to be a strip in the middle, excuse me, and then it's probably just going to be a box that's just going to go. So it's going to be a strip down the middle, and then I'll have a box with rounded corners with the inside cut out so it can just slide right down over the top. Epoxy it, or not epoxy it. Use some nitrate dope it in place, and consider that done. So it's one step closer. It's one step closer to getting ready to paint. Because moving this thing around the shop right now, if I thought it was bad banging into stuff with just an open fuselage before, this is terrible. I don't like moving it at all. Because all of a sudden I hear a ripping sound. It's you'll see a grown man cry on video. So anyway, I'm just feeling pretty good. All right, so it's ready for its second dope. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that all off camera, and I'll bring it back down later on when I'm doing the wings. So see you, if not later on today, first thing in the morning. All right, good morning everyone, welcome back to the shop. It's Friday, November 24th, and today, because I've got everything done, I've already got 2 coats of nitrate dope on everything, plus 1 extra coat with the filler in there, with the monkey butt powder. What I'm doing today is to that monkey butt powder mix, we're putting, you can see how well it reflects now. This has the, I don't even know if I can get it so you can kind of see it. Let me see if I can block some of the light. Anyway, that's the aluminum paste on there. And that's the whole idea behind the aluminum paste, is what it does is it reflects the sunlight and UVs back out into the atmosphere and not through the plane. So what this will do is this just won't allow any light to come through the plane. How much weight does it add to everything? Almost nothing. It's about a teaspoonful of aluminum paste mixed in with the quart. And I'm hoping with the quart, I'll get 2 coats on everything out of the quart. Otherwise I'll have to mix some more. It takes about, I want to say about 20-25 minutes just to break up the aluminum paste in some thinner, just to make sure that there's no lumps when you pour it in with the nitrate dope. So I'm going to get the camera set up, and we'll start on the fuselage. We'll start in the back on the bottom, and we'll get the underneath part of the ailerons, the ailerons. It's early morning. The underneath part of the elevator and the horizontal stabilizer, and then I'll do the bottom of the fuselage, and when that's set up to flip it, I'll go ahead and flip it, and then we'll start working on the sides and the top. So it'll take should take about an hour to do the whole thing, I'm hoping. So I'll just make you a nice little speedy up video of taking a plane that's almost white in color. We'll turn it silver. Let me get things set up and get the lights turned on so that it's going to work out okay for hover we're set up, and then I will start the video. Hang on. hope you're enjoying the video, just enjoying the music. Alright, that's about halfway done. It hasn't taken me that long. What I decided to do was, instead of just doing it upside down and flipping it on its belly and doing the sides that way, I'm waiting for this side that we're working on right now to, because it's still a little bit tacky up front, because where it's just sitting on top of the wood, yes, you're not going to see the sunlight come through it, but what I'm doing is I'm making sure that the paint that gets sprayed on here is going to look like this paint that's sprayed on the side, because even though it's an orange, you don't know what the silver is going to do to the paint being sprayed on top. So you don't want this to have a different hue of orange than this. So like this would be lighter and this would be darker. You don't want that. So that's what I'm doing. And right now, this is the first coat. I'm hoping the second coat is going to be enough to get a full fill in on it. We will we'll see what happens when it gets to that point. What you'll notice is if you I'll show you inside the plane, until you get the final color on the outside of the plane, you can see the brush marks through the weave on the covering, and that's not an issue. As soon as I put the orange on the outside of the plane, all the light's going to be black going into it. So even though I spent all that time painting everything black on the inside for the framework, you're still going to see it just from the light going through the front windscreen and the side windows. But that's why I just decided that, let's just go ahead, if we're going to spend the time to do it, don't stop the framework halfway back, take it all the way to the tail. So the other thing that let me take off the stand, the other thing that I wanted to cut this out first, because once you put this on, it's really hard to see where the holes were, and I forgot about these. So I just ended up just putting a slit through there, and then taking the little, you might have seen it on the video, then I took the little rat tail file and just stuck the square end into it and just rotated it a couple times. That way I know that's where the pull wire is coming out for the rudder. And I need to remember to go ahead and poke this hole through when I'm doing the next side. So I just got to make sure. So what I'll do is I'll get my little pokey tool right there, and I'll put it down here so I'll see it. So that way I know that's the first thing I've got to do is go ahead and do that. And I think all the holes are poked through. I didn't on the bottom of the airplane where the landing gear is getting attached to. I know the front, I'm going to keep the front holes where they're at, but the back I have not decided if I want to re-drill one of the holes. So what I'm going to do is, I know that one of the holes, the screw will go through there, but the one closest to the side of the fuselage, that one, it may not get used, because the screw that holds the lower anchor for the wing struts, that was bumping into the other screw. So I think what I'll do is, right now I'll open up the hole farther in, and I'll just leave a little pinhole where the other one was at, so I can just make a determination on how I want to do that when the time comes. So